Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. I just came back from university and I felt like just logging into some EVE Online, just doing a bit of a chill Abyss farming. That's some T4 Firestorm, my go-to chill farming in EVE Online. I'm currently using it. I've shown this quite a few times before, using the high-grade Nirvanas. See here, high-grade Nirvanas with a pretty cheap ship right here, the 570 million ISK ship. And we're going to go straight in and wreck some abyssal entities. I wanted to check something actually, because I've got some of these Halcyon boosters. I've been talking about these boosters being really good, and we get a little bit of a DPS increase, and also I think a bit of a shield boosting increase, and it might be also HP. No, not an HP increase. Do we get any shield boost? No shield capacity. I think there's a different type of Halcyon booster that affects the shield capacity. We can just get some filaments. But anyway, we're going to undock right here and get to work. So this is my classical hybrid Gila with both passive shield recharge and also active shield recharge, which I use for the firestorms. I'm quite curious right here, is there any kind of booster that affects the shield HP? Because I know that there's one that affects the resist, and that could be good at least if you want to go with that very passive style. You can see here, I think it was the Y. Yeah, you see this passive EM damage resistance. So we see this. Do we get a capacitor modifier? No, it doesn't seem like we've got any shield HP. It might be a different one. Go here, Raging Firestorm. Let's go. Maybe the G5. Yeah, here, 5% shield capacity bonus. That could be good. Okay, attacker marshal Disparu troop. Oh, we've got a Tachyon Cloud as well. Let's get in close. These waves are pretty deadly in Firestorms. They do a lot of thermal damage, and we've got nerfed thermal resist here. Okay, have they changed something? Because the marshals, they don't seem to have any shield anymore. Because I remember them always having a lot of shields. Now it feels like they don't have any shields anymore. I've been noticing recently there's not been much shields on them. Okay, now we're speeding up properly. Go on, launch the missiles now. There we go. Storm Skybreaker maybe. I don't want to go actually for the Skybreaker because he is quite close to us. And if the Skybreaker is close to us, that's going to be a bad thing when we've got drones in the grid, because they're Edencom photon projectors. They're going to bounce off of the drones or off me onto the drones. We don't want that to happen because they really just kind of one-shot the drones. Especially since we've got Hammerheads, they're pretty flimsy drones. They've got low shield HP, so it's just going to go into armor. It's just such a hassle having armor drones, because you see when they take that damage, okay, you know that damage is going to be there for the rest of the site unless you've got remote repair, which this Gila doesn't have. I actually saw once on YouTube, I was at a point in my Abyss career where I was thinking of ways to do high tier Abyss, and I was thinking, okay, maybe I could use a Cerberus for high tier Abyss, and it is a very common way to do high tier Abyss. I was thinking, is there a way to have a Cerberus that can do T5? This was before even T6 existed, so I was thinking, okay, is there something I can use for T5 Abyss? And then I was looking for fits, and I saw they're very expensive, and I was just thinking, okay, is there a way to have maybe a little bit cheaper Cerberus fits for T4? Unfortunately, it's pretty difficult just because the modules needed to have high tier Cerberus fits. Usually you'll use like the Caldari Navy heavy assault missiles now to get the fitting to get the fitting to work, because it's got a very limited power grid in some ways, and the slot layout as well. So it's hard to get it to be cheap for T4 and T5, I find. I mean, there could be some ways, and if there are some ways, I would love to see it down below in the comments. Yeah, the point is, I was trying to find a Cerberus fit that could run high tier Abyss, and I was thinking about the Darks, doing the Darks, because they were also, I thought that there was something unique, because I was thinking, okay, there's few people who are running Darks. I thought maybe it's like something special if you're able to run them. And they were also pretty cheap at the time. Before this T6 filaments were released, they were quite cheap, I remember, the Dark sites. And I was just thinking, okay, it got me to at least think about dark sites, because I was thinking, okay, we're going to get a Cerberus, and then I found out that it's pretty hard to get a pretty cheap one. So then I just think, okay, dark sites. And I saw some guy on YouTube who was actually using a Gila in dark sites. So he was using a special Gila that had like a dual webifiers, 2 webs on it. And he was then actually using a remote arm repair as well on his Gila. His Gila was quite unique, so he was using that to repair his drones. So it's just a pretty fun thing to see right there. He was doing something quite unique. I want to actually do that sometime, because I have made a a dark Gila for T5s with the high grade Hydras. It unfortunately wasn't particularly fast, and just in general that's the way it's going to be with the dark sides, because you can't really apply as good. But then also the main thing is that they've not got a reduced resist type, so when you've not got a reduced resist type, it's just going to be like that. So just naturally everything's going to be a lot slower. So that's why I prefer not to do dark if I can help it. There's obviously benefits if you want to be able to tank better. It's also quite a cool ambience as well, completely like dark ambience. But I was thinking that was something that was on my mind for a bit. Okay, I could maybe use a Gila for the T5 darks, and I still think you can even without the high grade Nirvanas, you could or high grade Hydras. You could put like webs, but you could also put something like omnidirectional tracking links, increase the drone's optimal range. Because the main thing with the dark sides is that you get the optimal range reduced of your drone, the Gila drones, and then it just doesn't work properly. Let's get in here. It's been so far really bad loot. What have we got here? Abyss loot, 10 million. Okay, super easy. Super easy wave right here. We can do another one straight afterwards because we've got some really easy mode AFK waves. Apart from the martial wave, but it was a very easy martial wave as well. Like, the funny thing is that often I find that or many people tell me that the martial is like a really difficult wave, but a lot of the times the martial waves can be like different variants. Some variants are very deadly, very, very deadly. But then some of them are also just so easy. Like, it's just one martial and a bunch of frigates or something, and just hardly any damage. You kill them so quickly. So like the one we had right now, that was a really chill martial wave. It was just like, okay, I barely had to even tank anything or even use my shield booster. It's like this rogue drone wave. I'm barely having to use my shield booster. I'm just using it now out of a bit of a routine, so I have max shields when I get out of the site right here. Otherwise, I tend to not. Like, there's no real reason to use this booster, but I just have a habit of having full shields when I exit the site. Just in case I was to have abyssal gankers, it's always good to have max shields right there. What is our max HP actually if we were to overheat? I'm curious. Because it was buffed after that. That surgical strike reversion update. Ooh, 75k EHP, that's pretty decent. 75k EHP. It would be just so nice to get that large armor repair mutaplasmin. Go for like 200-300 million for one of those. Get close. It's not letting me get the bi-adaptive cash. Maybe there's something good in it. It's wanting to keep the suspense up to get the good loot. Nah, 6.5. Really bad. That's actually some... We've got some pretty low tier loot right here. We've got a few T4s, but T4s that are quite bad. I got a Firestorm and Dark. Pretty much only the bad T4 filaments. I mean, if these had been 3 good ones, 3 good T4 filaments, we would have had like almost 40 million ISK worth of loot here. Because we could have maybe had 3... or 2, because I already had another Raging Fire, so we could have had 2 Raging Gammas, for example. Then it would have been, I think it would be 16 million extra. Now, okay, maybe not 40 million, but it would have been over 30 million at least. When luck is on your side, it can be really good in the Abyss. But when luck is not on your side, it's a bit like, okay, risk your really expensive ship and implants. Okay, thanks you for your visit, please come again. It's like, here's 5 million ISK to compensate for your time, but it is worth it in the long run, because when you get that great ISK, it's just amazing. What have we got here? No gankers. Great. Okay. Let's activate another filament again. And I used to think actually that you couldn't use the filament until this has gone away, at this tether right here, but it's actually not. You just look at the trace. So you look here, and then you just wait until this disappears. When this disappears before this goes away, this marker right here, and that's when we can activate a new one. Okay, so it's already gone now, so we can already activate a new one. So look, now it's gone. Okay, we don't need to use a shield booster right there, because we can save a bit of capacity, especially since we've got a ton of neuters right here. Oh, we've got 2 extraction caches. We should go here. Let's go. Oh, that drone is pretty battered up. Oh, that one's 2. We'll go with the super DPS with our augmenteds. They do so much DPS. We've got 900 DPS with these augmenteds. You can see here. I don't want to go to the Ephialtes, I want to go to these caches, please. Thank you. 902 DPS. So we just want to be a little bit careful for the newts. We can actually grab one of these frigates right here. Maybe remove one of these and grab these frigates, because we've got a Nosferatu as well, which we can use to get a little bit of extra capacitor. So this guy, Lucid Escort, who's taking a long time to lock up for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe my internet's not so good. Okay, good. So we get some capacitor, maybe. No, 0 gigajoules. Okay, so our capacitor is not so low yet. But our drones are just annihilating these guys, so I don't think it's gonna really be of much use anyway. But it's always nice to have that little extra 4 gigajoules or something I get from it. It is a very little nice addition, because I rarely, never ever need the drone leg augmenter. That's why I swapped it out a bit of time ago for the Nosferatu. Grab this. Sometimes you can get some nice loot from this. Sometimes you can get 400k. Okay, let's go a little bit to the side. Let's go to this wreck over here. See if we get any nice loot. Sometimes I think the most amount that I tend to get from the T4s, from these extraction nodes, maybe about 10 million or something like that. Oh, which these are booster actually, because we're getting low shields now. Or 3.5 million, that's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's alright. A little extra, you know, a little extra on the side. I mean, we were in some of those rooms, weren't we getting that much? Like 30 million from one of the biocompetitive caches or bioadaptive caches. I'm so used to running Frigate Abyss with the T0 to T6 Abyss series, so I just say biocompetitive cache by default. Let's get the missiles going on. You can see our capacitor is slowly draining. It has a bit to do with that we've got naturally a very low capacitor on this ship, and then we've got 2 newts on us that is causing us to slowly but steadily decline in capacitor. And we can put the dual drones like this. This guy is almost dead. Aegis. Do you guys know what's the difference between Aegis and Escort? Like, is there any actual difference, or is it just a generic different model? Because one of them do more damage than the other? Because I've heard something that one of the Aegis or Escort, they do more damage than the other. I've just heard. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard. So I think that could be a thing. I'm not sure. I don't really notice the difference, but it's hard to notice a big difference when you're just against frigates who naturally do very little damage. But they've been feeling quite similar, to be honest. Okay, drones, go for that little frigate right there. Okay. So I'll have my shield booster work overtime right now, so we can get our shields up to max, because we've got a fat buff on this ship, 20k, plus the resists. 7.4. Next room. I wonder what we'll get here. Oh, we'll get Kikimora waves. I remember trying T6 Gila fits for Firestorms. I have actually got a T6, like my T6 Gila that I used for Gammas. I refitted it at one point and used it for Firestorms. Did not turn out so well, because the Kikimoras, they really ripped me to pieces. And speaking of the devil, but that's exactly what I get right now. Okay. Let's go. Tangling Kikimora. I'll go for these guys. And these guys like absolutely annihilated my, well, almost annihilated my T6 Gila. I managed to get through, luckily, otherwise it would have been a really expensive lost mail, but it was very tight. The big issue was that my drones were taking a ton of damage as well, so it was a very difficult time for me to do damage. I'm lagging a bit. I can see that there's like the whole fleet of ships is moving. Yeah, you can see I'm lagging a bit. I don't know what's going on. Strange. Okay, we need to take out these guys fast, because we do not want to get caught by Kikimoras. They seem to want to brawl, so we're going to be taking full damage. We will be doing full damage to them, so that's a good thing. Have we got minus 70 or minus 50? Okay, minus 50, so it's going to take a bit longer to take them out. We will, however, be a bit tankier, so plus and minus right here, because they do a lot of thermal damage, these guys. But it seems like we're getting through them at a pretty rapid pace, so I think it'll be alright. Like, look at that, they almost die straight away. Popped. Go for this one right here. But I mean, the damage, the real pain with these guys, they're not that they initially do a lot of damage, it's just the spool up. They spool up so much. Damavix they don't spool up so much, but these guys, they just spool up to such insane levels. Like, it feels like almost the DPS levels of Vedmax when they spool up. But the thing is, the difference between these guys and Vedmax, these guys die a lot quicker than Vedmax. And they do, I think, do less damage than Vedmax, but it feels like their punch feels close to Vedmax just because of how powerful they are.
A module has run out of charges.
Yeah, we're getting a bit neutered as well because of this starving dam over here. Can maybe take him out soon. This one starving dammer is all it took for me to get close to getting neutered out. Let's neut him out then. Haha. We can nos him. We're not getting any gigajoules, unfortunately. What's our range? 6 and 9. So we should be able to. We should be able to. Because I think it's when their capacitor is lower than ours. Since we're in the cruiser, we naturally have a very big capacitor. So I think when they have more capacitor than us or something, then that's when we can Nosferatu them. I'm not exactly sure on the mechanics. I just know that when you got low capacitor, it's more likely that you'll Nosferatu successfully. But this ship right here is not particularly nuke proof, unfortunately. Cataclysmic Firestorm, oof. Imagine if that was Cataclysmic Electrical, that would have been amazing. Get 40 million ISK just like that. Move to the transfer conduit. Striking dammer. Last wave, let's go. Yeah, but that kicking more away was really easy. I think our buffer helps a lot as well, because there's a lot of damage, but it goes down very quickly as soon as we kill them. But it can suddenly spike to really high DPS levels if you're not careful. Or you just charge straight in there, you don't kill them properly. Okay, what have we got here? Drekavax, okay, should be pretty easy. They do actually quite low damage for how much HP they've got. They're pretty just tanky overall. Overall tanky boys, these guys. You can maybe send in the drones, take out that Kikimora. Or it could be an option to go for the Drekavac actually, because they've got they've got low HP, so they'll be repping up as time goes on. And it's only one Kikimora as well. So we'll go for the Drekavac. Okay, who's starving me? No one is starving me. Or neuting me. Is there no one? No, no one's neuting. Shining. Who's doing the target paint? Shining me with the target paint. I think it's just that our capacitor is so bad naturally on this ship, so that we're getting the capacitor outage sound or capacitor depletion sound just by using our modules. But we are cap stable, just not to a very big degree. We can go to the biocompetitive cache or bioadaptive cache and grab some loot from there. I wonder if the Kikimoras are taking out our drones because they're yellow boxed. Okay, now it's not yellow boxed, but the Diamond is yellow boxing. Let's continue. Where's our range on our missiles? 32 kilometers. So we can hit out pretty far. I remember when I started out in Abyss, it was always 30 or 29 kilometers. Then the skills accumulated in implants, especially implants, made a big difference. Then I was always able to hit out further at 30 plus kilometer range. And I'll go for the Drekavac, please. Oh, now they've repped up all their shield, all their armor, so it's not going to make a big difference. But we got some T5 filaments at least. That Chaotic Dark is not worth a lot. Like, look at this. We're getting all the bad filaments. Dark and Firestorm are the worst filaments in terms of profitability. Every single one. Firestorm, Dark, Dark, Firestorm, Firestorm. Every single one. Imagine if all these were electric. We would have been sitting on like maybe 100 million ISK right now. But no, the RNG is not on our side. One day the RNG will be on our side again. I mean, the RNG has been on our side a lot of times before, so I'm not going to be complaining. I'm sitting there with a large armor plate mutaplasmid I sold for like 200 million, so I'm not going to complain that I got it from a T4 Firestorm like we're doing right now as well. Let's regroup our drones, there we go, and reload our missiles and get out of this hellhole. Firestorms really like have this like hellfire type of vibe with, you know, all the real fire and redness everywhere. But there we go, some chill farming in the T4 Firestorm, a really cool way to earn some ISK, and also to just do when you're like a little bit tired from university or work and you just want to sit back and play a little bit of Eve. Somewhat challenging but still quite relaxing, both in terms of like the actual PvE is quite relaxing. I mean, it can get intense sometimes when it comes to the newts, but then also in terms of the gankers as well, because this is a bit more gank resistant than your classical active Gilas. So that's why I'm doing it here, and I'm not too worried about doing it here in Jita, because it's just going to be not too bad when it comes to gankers. could probably survive at least medium-sized gang fleets. So that's enough for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.